let me ask you guys, might be stupid, but you guys ever think about zombies and feel bad a little bit? You know what I mean? I mean, they used to be human, right?
Yeah, and what about that?
Well, I was just thinking maybe there'd be a way to, sit down and really get to know the undead. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Always in movies and games, everything, it's always just their targets, they get killed, blah blah blah. But maybe if you get to know one, they might not be too bad.
From what we've seen in like movies, zombies just eat on sight.
Yeah, but that's how the media portrays them. Just murder everything. Yeah, they're eating brains. At some point, they're going to be full, right? They're going to feel full. They're not hungry anymore, I would assume. Maybe that's the perfect time to talk.
So, when they're not hungry.
Yeah, but I also think that they're not actively out there to kill all humans, all human beings, just because they're undead. I just don't believe it. They used to be human, and I bet you a little piece of them is still human somehow. Something. I just don't see a lot of shows and movies portraying them as talking. And I bet you if you gave them the chance, you could have a decent conversation with one or two.
And how can we prove that, though?
Well, we do know one.
On backlog. Been gone for way too long. On backlog. Got so many games to play, dog. On backlog. Don't be called expands my dog. On backlog. Me and Carlo been fucking since dawn. On backlog. Did you know, yeah, Carlo wears thongs? On backlog. I really fucking hate this song. Yeah.
Resident Evil, the Umbrella Chronicles.
What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming with me, and welcome to Back at the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game Resident Evil, the Umbrella Chronicles. Last season, we played the game Resident Evil, the Darkside Chronicles, and had an absolute blast with it. That was actually the sequel to this game, so we are actually going backwards with this one. Given the fact it's only been a few months since that episode, not much has happened in the Resident Evil franchise, but I did actually play through Resident Evil Village and thought it was awesome. Resident Evil, the Umbrella Chronicles was released on November 13th, 2007 in the US for the Wii. It was developed by Capcom and Cavia and published by Capcom. I was genuinely looking forward to playing the Umbrella Chronicles considering how much I loved playing through the Darkside Chronicles. Was it any good though? Well, here we are 15 years after its original release. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first. Like the Darkside Chronicles, Umbrella Chronicles splits the story between different scenarios, separate stories retelling certain events from the mainline Resident Evil games. There's 4 scenarios, each with their own set of chapters and sub-stories. Essentially, everything is mandatory to getting to the credits, which I'll get into later. Train Derailment covers the events of Resident Evil 0 following the characters Rebecca Chambers and Bill and Cohen as they go through Umbrella's training facility. Mansion Incident covers the original Resident Evil following the characters Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine going through the iconic Deadfield Mansion. Raccoon's Destruction covers Resident Evil 3 Nemesis following Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira facing Raccoon City's deadly streets. Then the final scenario is actually all brand new material for this game, which I'll talk about later. Right off the bat, visually this game is okay. It's not as visually impressive as Darkside Chronicles, but there are still some nice looking moments. Although the environments overall in this game aren't as memorable and unique as Darkside Chronicles. Yes, admittedly you are going to hear me compare this game to Darkside Chronicles quite an amount, but can you blame me? I played it really recently and that is the literal sequel to this game, so honestly I find the differences interesting. And let me tell you, there are a lot of differences, and almost none of them are good. Yeah, I can't even believe I'm saying that. Obviously, this is an on-rail shooter. There's plenty of fun to be had in that way. It's a blast shooting away at zombies and other creatures with fixed set pieces to create tension and over-the-top scenarios. However, There are so many odd design choices in this game that bog it down from being a fun experience.
Good thing I have nothing to compare it to, as I didn't play the Darkside Chronicles.
Damn shame, man, you missed out.
It's alright. One day, when you guys play Resident Evil.
Oh, I know. I still remember that. I'm gonna keep that in my mind.
Remind me though still, I'll probably forget.
I wanted to play this game with my gun, which acts as a Wii Zapper. It feels like an arcade experience playing like this, but I just couldn't with the Umbrella Chronicles. Not because it's not compatible, but because in order to reload your gun, you have to shake the Wii remote, not the nunchuck like in Darkside Chronicles. Shaking this big ass gun genuinely cramped my hand out after a while. I usually play about hour-and-a-half sessions, and having to shake it every 30 seconds to a minute didn't feel very comfortable. So sadly, I didn't use this. Not only that, but shaking the Wii remote makes your cursor go all over the place, obviously, which sure, you could see it as a extra little challenge, but I just prefer reloading with the nunchuck. With the nunchuck, you can look around a bit, which is definitely a cool feature and is probably the only thing that should have also been in Darkside Chronicles. Then there's the most absolutely baffling design choice. Herbs, which is your form of health, they're automatically used. Yes, in Darkside Chronicles you stored your health items and then you could go into a menu to use it when you need it, but not this game. Even at completely full health, you still use it. You don't need it at all, but it straight up uses it. Do you know how many frustrating scenarios it created? A lot. Checkpoints in this game are for some reason really far from each other for the most part, so health is fucking important. You'll have times where there are just strange health placements. You'll be at full health, you'll get a herb that does nothing, and then immediately get hit by something. Well, I could have used that herb 5 seconds later. Or they place it for you to grab for 2 seconds and quickly turn the camera away like, let me get some health or give me some more checkpoints, you bastard. Or there'll be no herbs at all for a long stretch and it's just constant death until you master that area. That could be fine in a different style game, but dying over and over again in an on-rail shooter starts to get tedious considering you can't go faster or slower or change anything because you are on rails. You are tied to the set pieces, creating these tedious sections with some bullshit, almost unavoidable attacks. Sometimes enemies change up their attack movements a bit, and I don't think that makes any sense for this sort of game. On-rail shooters are all about memorization to get the highest score or rank, but I'll have one run where a monkey lunges and attacks, where another, it doesn't. Like, what the fuck? The way health and checkpoints are in this game make it way harder than it needs to be. I could have bumped it down to easy, but I did want to play through normal, and it's not like easy changed the way health is managed. I'm not saying I'd rather have unlimited health or something. A challenge is fine, but a part of the challenge is when to use items, managing your inventory. That's not in this game at all. And I know that someone will complete this game without taking any damage at all and be absolutely amazing, but for most people, it's just not going to be that way. There were just too many times where my frustrations could have been less if I was able to manage my health. That one design choice made this game go from a fun on-rail shooter to way too frustrating to even recommend. Yeah. That was also only one of the reasons I was severely disappointed in this game.
I finished every level without taking damage. All S ranks.
1. Bullshit. 2. I don't condone bragging in this household.
I'm not bragging, it's just facts.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Niffler, I thought you'd be on my side.
Not when you're a bragging ass bitch.
What?
Exactly. The attention to immersion in Darkside Chronicles like the first-person cinematic camera isn't in this. Sure, there's some bobbing and weaving, but I really like the whole crazy first-person camera movements in Darkside Chronicles. All you see is your target and that's it. No seeing your character's hands reloading, you don't even see your partner, so I really don't think it matters which character you choose to play with in the slightest because you don't even see anyone in the area. In terms of weapons, you'll have a wide range of them, but you can only choose one to shoot with. Every other weapon you may occasionally run into during the chapters. That's a major difference from Darkside Chronicles, which allowed you to have every weapon you earned in every chapter, and you could just go into your inventory to change the loadout. That's just more fun. Instead of experimenting with different guns, I'd use the one that I just know is going to help me out the most and hope other weapons show up to pick up in the chapter, especially since the checkpoints are so oddly placed. It was frustrating blazing through everything to die 10 minutes into a chapter and restart from the very beginning. 10 minutes in an on-rail shooter is a long time because you are seeing everything again. every little camera movement just because of some unnecessary quick time event that causes you to die. That time adds up and it's bullshit. Dying even just 5 times means almost an hour's worth of playtime. Normally I wouldn't consider that as a negative, but because of the genre it is and the unfair ways you can die, push this game to pure annoyance for me. Then they'll sometimes actually have a checkpoint later on and just not tell you. Why only sometimes? And why not tell me? Like, why does that have to be a mystery? And just the way enemies appear in the game is also odd. Enemies pop out of nowhere all the time. It's way too often. It's nice to see what's ahead and perhaps plan out a quick strategy on what to take out first, but constantly the camera would turn around where there was no zombies at all to like 7 of them out of nowhere. And even the simplest of zombies take so much more bullets to take out. A headshot could take like 5 bullets from the handgun at minimum to kill a simple zombie. It's genuinely ridiculous how all these enemies are just bullet sponges. Every enemy has a weak spot, which normally means you can take them out on one single bullet, which is super satisfying to pull off, but the hitbox is so fucking tiny. For zombies, it's not the head in general, it's the tiniest part in between the eyebrows. Here, 1 shot. Here, 7 shots. What? Come on, man. That's just fucking stupid. Then bosses last even longer, essentially emptying out all of your ammo from every single weapon you collected. The bosses are genuinely cool and have some awesome weird designs, but man, talk about a little too long. If you aren't perfect with using your ammo, prepare to die because of the lack of ammo. Thankfully, bosses do have a checkpoint, so you start off there again, which, mind you, they don't tell you. The first time you die to a boss, you are praying to the checkpoint gods that they aren't too cruel. I now want to talk about the final scenario just to let you know. The final scenario is called Umbrella's End. It's a brand new story that follows Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine infiltrating the Umbrella Corporation's stronghold in Russia. There, they travel deep in the area and face off against Umbrella's latest creation, the Talos Project. Talos is this menacing, massive creature that is attached to a mechanical-like setup. Talos shoots lasers that you have to dodge, it attacks with its massive claws. There's 3 weak spots that when shot at, it'll fall down, revealing its major weak spot that shooting at it delivers absolutely massive damage. When Talos is defeated, Jill and Chris talk about finally ending Umbrella with the character Albert Wesker then narrating that he actually helped them succeed. In what way? Well, you find out later in a sub-story. Yeah, the final main mission in Umbrella's End is not the ending. No credits roll. I really thought that was the end of the game, and honestly, I wish it was the end of the game.
What? Not again. I thought for sure this was the ending.
Normally I'd say how you're just an impatient bastard, but I should have been you in this scenario.
I thought you were gonna yell at me.
Not today. After this, I'm too depressed. Instead, the credits roll in a sub-story that you have to unlock. Now, that would be fine if it wasn't such a pain in the ass to unlock. Sub-stories! We haven't talked about sub-stories because they're way more integral to the main story than you'd think. Most of the sub-stories have you play as Albert Wesker, which is essentially like the main villain in the entire Resident Evil franchise. So that's really cool. Hell, they may be called sub-stories, but there's a reason the credits roll after one of his missions. Albert Wesker is pretty much the main protagonist of the Umbrella Chronicles. Story-wise, it's easily the most interesting part of the game. Albert Wesker infected himself with a virus that allows him to be essentially superhuman. During his missions, he'll be jumping around super high, not taking any fall damage. He's super fast, incredibly strong. He is unstoppable. I mean, he can die like any other character, but you get the point. Because of this reason, playing as Wesker definitely is different from other characters, since there'll be these crazy superhuman moves he'll perform. Unfortunately, that doesn't make up for the mixed bag of sub-story missions you have to complete. Sub-stories are, for the most part, shorter than the actual main chapters, making some of them more enjoyable. That's because checkpoints are closer in these sub-stories, so repetitive nature doesn't quite happen. That is, until I realized most of the sub-stories have you retread the same areas you already did in the main chapters. Sometimes it's half of the sub-story, but sometimes it's almost all of the same areas you've already gone through. There's no difference other than cutscenes and occasional dialogue. It's pure padding and for some reason, mandatory. It gets even worse when I found out that the final few chapters don't unlock unless you earned an A rank or higher in certain chapters. This is where the game truly fell completely flat on its face for me. After finishing every chapter, you get a rank based on your performance, such as critical hits, aka the one-shot kills, how fast you finished, how many enemies you killed, how many objects in the environment you shot, and how many extra files you found. Man, what kind of side quest ass shit is that? In Darkside Chronicles, getting higher ranks unlocks stuff like costumes. That makes sense. To me, getting a high rank adds to the replay value of a chapter. If you enjoyed it enough, you strive to get an S rank and unlock a bunch of optional costumes. But Umbrella Chronicles at the last few chapters says, "No, fuck you. Earlier missions you unlock costumes. Now we are halting your progress, you son of a bitch. Go replay that chapter 7 times until you get an A rank. See you in 2 to 3 hours, asshole." Yeah, that's what the Umbrella Chronicles told me. So I said, fuck it. I lowered it down to easy, the difficulty. And guess what? They didn't change a goddamn thing. That's because the way the ranking system works, well, it's not affected by difficulty. Easy just allows you to take more hits, but it's not like your rank goes up because of it. So then I'm sitting replaying chapters over and over again, thinking I'm on a great run, and one area gets a C and drags the overall score to a B, aka replay it again. You have to get an A or an S to progress. Absolutely ridiculously strict and super tedious design. Everything else is an A or an S, but that one C ruins it. This ending ranking shit absolutely halted the pacing of the endgame. It's a straight up terrible decision. When a game gets super strict on how to progress, especially in one where there's only one way to progress, so you gotta nail your head against the wall until you get it, it's just not fun. Yeah, you finished the chapter, but you didn't finish it good enough. Fuck off. It's not a math test. It's a shooting gallery, and I shot the fucking gallery. You are replaying Substories multiple times when those are already retreads of main chapters. It's a constant loop of seeing the same areas over and over again due to the ranking system and reused environments. It's shocking how much padding and reusing environments there are in this game. If you know me, you know I love variety. This game is the complete opposite of variety. After all those A rankings later, you unlock Dark Legacy 2, the finale. You play as Wesker going through the Umbrella base in Russia. Yeah, the exact same base that you did before. Cool.
What a waste of my time.
So you go through and shoot enemies in the same location as before, then finally Wesker meets up with Sergei Vladimir. Vladimir mutates into this grotesque creature, and there is your final boss. I actually really like his boss design. It definitely looks like a fucked up mutation with the giant arm, bulging mouth, and messed up feet. The creature is fast and jumps all over the room, which you have to shoot to expose its major weak point, the back. It'll also shoot out eggs that host these maggot-like bugs that you have to quickly shoot before they hit you. It's a really solid boss fight that has you strategize when to take out the more powerful weapons, as you already spent a lot of the ammo already before this fight even starts. It took me several attempts, but I had one good run with a first aid spray that revives you one time and shot at the damn mutated beast for the final time. The beast dies and Wesker gets all of the Umbrella's secret files. He then wipes out all of the files from within, leaving with all of Umbrella's secrets for himself. Wesker does that, which I don't blame him. If I had his powers, I'd do all sorts of parkour. Then he says,
Soon, Umbrella will be gone forever. They held the power of the T-virus in their hands, but they lack the proper vision. The true vision of the future. And now, it falls to me to usher in this new future.
looks, jumps away, and the credits roll. It is a pretty badass ending. I don't know what Wesker does in the future, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Wesker is a cool-ass villain. He betrays everybody, he's smart, makes perfect plans, and is essentially superhuman. He's pretty awesomely evil. While the final boss is cool, the final mission isn't, as you know, it's a retread of another mission. That was Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. Wow. probably the most disappointing game I've played in this series so far. I would not recommend this game, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I guess if you play it on easy, it could be less frustrating, but that doesn't really change any of the negatives to this game. Hidden behind all these weird design choices is a fun on-rail shooter, but the game is too annoying. I can't believe how much better the Darkside Chronicles is for me. It's literally night and day to me. Sure, some people don't like the camera of Darkside, but the overall package is super well crafted. Umbrella Chronicles does not feel nearly as well thought out. It's crazy! I thought the Darkside Chronicles was awesome, but I don't like the Umbrella Chronicles. I have to go through so many odd design choices and padding just to enjoy the game. I don't like this game. And I'm really sad to say that because I thought it would be another really cool on-rail shooter set in the Resident Evil franchise. Instead, it's an on-rail shooter covered up by many bad decisions. Overall, I'm going to give Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles a go play the Darkside Chronicles out of 10. Man, that was quite the surprise. I didn't think I'd be so negative with this game, but I guess you really never know what to expect until you actually play these games. With that, the Chronicles duology is done. One bad game, one awesome game. I would have never expected it to be that drastic of a difference for me. To be fair though, without Umbrella, there would be no Darkside. So that's a positive. Next, we get into more traditional Resident Evils. When? Who knows? But I am looking forward to them as they are not this. That'll be it for today though. Thank you so much for watching. Share these around as these take so long to make. Have you played Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles was a massive disappointment, but it is officially out of the backlog. Hey. Hey. Yo. Get up, man. I gotta ask you something. It's alright. Sit down. Relax. I'm not gonna bite. Unlike you, you know. sorry. For real though. How you feeling? Gotcha. I wanted to ask just some questions about what's it like to be a zombie. You know, how does it feel to be portrayed as a murderous villain who eats people? So is there anything you would have done to prevent being a zombie? You have family? I see. Anything you'd tell someone who is afraid of zombies? Well said. Well, one final thing I gotta ask you. What game do you think we should play next? Really? So you think we should play this? So we only play one game per episode. So which one do you think we should play first? The first one, I'm assuming? You're right. You're right. The first one it is.
Robert, you understand what he's been saying?
No, not at all. I agree. I think those colors were great on you. Hey. Bro. Oh, bro. Oh.